that, that type of communication works, you know, that you can quickly have it read or have contact with so many people.
Yeah, this YouTube thing is just, it's amazing what you can do with it now and how you can reach people all over the globe and they can reach you almost instantaneously. But hello everybody, how you doing? I'm back again for another video, and this one's a follow-up video with my dad, Dave, who you all met last time in my three-part series where we had some memories and music. That's my dad.
How's everybody doing?
And I thought you'd get a kick out of some of you nice people out there who watched the three videos, made some nice comments to my dad and complimented him. And he has not seen these yet. He doesn't go onto YouTube where he would read all your different comments and such. So I thought I'd read some to him so he could hear them firsthand from you. One of my viewers, he's from the Carolinas, I believe. His name is Brad. Beatle Brad. He's called Beatle Brad, but Brad. He's about my age. He's a big Beatle fan. He's a very good family man. I know of him and have written to him. He's a nice guy. And he says, what a fantastic video with your dad. He's a wealth of history and knowledge. And he talks about other things that he did. Your dad and I would have a great talk. Like Tommy Dorsey was my grandmother's next door neighbor. Your dad does sound like a great man. I love it. So I can see how you turned out so well. That was nice of him to say that.
Yeah, I could, if we got together, Brad, you could help because I'm losing it quickly as I age. My mind, that is. And you could reminisce about the old days, and it would help me to remember things that I didn't have the opportunity to talk about previously.
Yeah. One of my viewers, I don't know his real first name, his screen name is Keola Smash 550. He made a couple of comments. I'll read a couple of his, but the first one, he said when he watched the video was he talked about his parents being from the same generation, but they were younger than you and Mom when they got married, and you know, he talks about that. But the main thing he wanted to say to you was it was great to see your father. He looks cool and he seems healthy. Are you healthy?
I know about my mind. That's what I'm concerned about.
Well, you're doing pretty. You're almost 88 and you haven't lost your mind yet, so I think you're okay.
Close to it, but not yet.
This is John Aiello. I believe he's from the United Kingdom. But John, if I'm wrong, I apologize. He said it was such a great show with you and your father. Put on all three shows, parts 1 through 3. Very interesting and informative music history from your super father. I enjoyed this very much. One of your best ever. Your pop has a great knowledge of music and a wonderful collection of music memories. He's one cool dude.
Maybe you could send me some money and I'll buy a saxophone now and learn how to play it.
Get those sax lessons going. This gentleman here I've met before, Dad. He's from the greater New York area down near the city. His name's Joe. He's called Mean Mr. Mayo, but his name's Joe. He said it's a really nice talk with your dad. It's so amazing when you really hear a person born in 1930 relating their experiences with music and whatever artist spoke to them when they were teens in their early 20s. I couldn't wait to hear what your father thought of rock and roll and Elvis. Now I'm eager to catch part 2, and he will comment again. And hope you didn't forget to ask him about the Beatles, but as you know, I did. And he's going to, Joe comes back later. He wants to ask you another question, so I'll save that. Again, I wish I could read all of them, folks, but there's so many nice comments to my dad that I've had to pick and choose. So I'll try to mention you, but I apologize if I don't. This is a nice man. He's John from Florida. His screen name, he's a Christian man. His name's been fishing for Jesus. His name's John, though. He's from Florida. He says, you better believe I'll be back for part 2. Your dad is still sharp as a tack and has a nice name. Tell him I pray for him daily and I wish I could be sitting with you listening to his stories. So he's a really...
Yeah, I do the same. I pray for myself. I need it. But Dave mentioned religious and your name. I say it's cheaper to go to church than it is to pay a psychiatrist.
That's true. Jake Star 105 said, I said it before and I'll say it again, you've got a very cool dad. He just gave a short comment.
Right. Thank you.
This gentleman here, his name is Doc Dacus. He's from Canada. I'm not sure what part of Canada, but he said, fantastic interview so far. Is it a coincidence these episodes happen to be up on the Father's Day weekend? Big band swing era of music were just a precursor to rock and roll. I love the part when Dad was reminiscing about pickup night when you used to go to Crescent Park. He liked that part.
I'll bet half or three-quarters of the married couples in my age bracket all went to Crescent Park or Rose on the Patuxent on a Friday or a Saturday night and looked the girls over and the girls looked the guys over. That's how it all happened. That's why all the people are married.
Karen Berjak, I think she's from Massachusetts actually, she said, well, this made me smile through the whole video. I am very happy for you that you did this. Dave, I loved your stories. My parents have been gone for years, but thank you for sharing your dad with us. That was nice.
I just I hoped that I would remember much more detail than I did, but probably 4 or 5 hours after the interview with Dave, I remembered things that you may have really enjoyed, but again, while making the film, it just didn't pop into my mind.
Maybe if we have time at the end, if you think of a good story, you can tell it. Richard McCook said it was an absolute delight listening to the stories from your father as he was there in the 40s and 50s. The authenticity of his stories makes it all the more thrilling. He's from the United Kingdom, right. From over in England.
Right.
Fox Guy 67 said, wow, he must be from the area. He said, wow, Roads on the Patuxent, Crescent Park, and the Rhode Island Auditorium. Great recollections. Nice to get a perspective from someone who lived through such times. And he said, bonus points for your Raleigh Fingers mustache, too.
Oh, thank you. I should have had his experiences. I'd have a pocket full of money now.
Yeah. Joss Housen, I believe he's from the United Kingdom, he said, what a great idea and what a pleasure to listen to your father. He consciously experienced the 40s and 50s and how popular music has developed over the years. I know I'm going to watch part 2, enjoying it tremendously. That was nice of him. Quick Parkley said you have a great mustache, and he must be from the area because he said, Greenfield, eh? My parents were from South Hadley and Holyoke.
I worked in South Hadley on tobacco farms with the Jamaicans. They sent crews of Jamaicans up each year, and they worked hanging the tobacco for cigars in the barns. And they were wonderful guys. They were all about 7 feet tall. But it was a great experience. And I would go there every day during the week on the bus with a bunch of other high school kids. And we'd work the fields and then hang the tobacco in the barns.
Yeah, wow. And that was in that Hadley area.
Yeah, it was in Hadley, yep.
Fit to be tie-dyed. I know him very well. His name is Paul. He's from outside Vancouver, Canada. Remember we went out to Vancouver, we went on that cruise to Alaska years ago.
That was a great time.
Paul's from out in that area, and he's a great guy. He said, this is absolutely marvelous. I'm so happy your dad was willing to do this and that you were able to share it with us. So that was nice of him.
Great. Thank you very much.
Here's Joe back again from the greater New York area, Mean Mr. Mayo. He had a question for you, a follow-up. He said, the time with your dad just flew by. I was really wondering, though, what he first thought of the Beatles' look with their long hair. Like, we spoke about the Beatles, and you getting the records, you and Mom, you know, liking the beat and all that. They weren't fly-by-night. They were talented musicians.
Oh, very
but
much so.
Do you recall any recollection of their appearance? Did that strike you and Mom at all? Was their hair considered long, or their boots?
Well, the hair... compared to the average person in the United States, I'd say their hair was a bit long, but I never was disturbed by it, or their dress, the way they dressed. And you have to realize that they were promoting themselves as a group, that they were here trying to promote the Beatles, and that was it. And they had a unique appearance, they had a unique style, no question about that. And they also decided to wear their hair long, and probably from their roots. I guess they were from the Liverpool area originally, or nearby anyway. So nothing, I've never been disturbed by stuff like that. The world keeps changing. It always has, it always will.
Okay, Sandy SDR said, wonderful video. I miss my father even more after watching your video. He was 87 when he passed away April of 2017. Do convey my best wishes to your dad. It was great listening to his record stories. That's Sandy.
Thank you. My sadness that your dad passed away, and it wasn't that far back. He had a good life, but like everybody else, they probably would all like to live to be 100. It just doesn't happen. And maybe I'll live to be 95. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, condolences for your dad's passing.
James Griffiths is from the United Kingdom. I know he's from Great Britain. James said, very interesting to hear your dad's memories, and always good to hear about you and the rocking horse. James, I've had contact with. I told him about my rocking horse. So.
We'll never forget that. My wife and I will always remember that. Picture Dave sitting on that horse with the springs and rocking back and forth continuously. He wore the record out, the Beatles record out, rocking back and forth on the horse.
He also follows up with, it was so cool that your dad accepted the Beatles, even though they weren't really his music as such. The world needs more open-minded people like this.
Oh, they were just so much talent there.
John from Florida is back again, been fishing for Jesus. He said, I'm so impressed with your dad. Can I borrow him for a couple of weeks and go to record stores?
Well, is this a male?
Yeah, John. His name's John from Florida.
We'll hit all the bars and nightclubs wherever you are when I get there.
I don't know if he'll drink with you though. He just had shoulder surgery, so he might have. I don't know if John can drink.
I can hold the glass. And...
BMX speaker. BMX Seeker, I'm sorry. I think he's from the Ohio area.
Right.
He very much he talked about a lot of different things he enjoyed, the different music you mentioned, but he thought your Jerry Vale story was very nice.
Yeah, Jerry Vale was the nicest guy you'd want to meet. And he had a beautiful voice, no question about it. And as I believe I said on the earlier tape, he really made it coming to New England, Rhode Island, Massachusetts area. They just fell in love with him. They loved him so much. And that group I went with to Las Vegas when we met him in person, could have been any superstar. We wouldn't have been more thrilled and appreciative of his meeting with us.
Keola Smash, he commented earlier, but he sent another comment that he really enjoyed your mustache. It shows character. He said your mustache shows character.
Well, I'm a character. I'll tell you that much. People worry about me. They're not sure what's going to happen next.
One of the commenters, I'm not sure which one was meant. There was one point we were talking about Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Oh, yeah.
And you had mentioned, and I remember another group, and a couple of the commenters, two of them at least, said they think you were thinking of Sergio Mendes in the Brazil 66. Could that have been the one?
Yeah, and I forget the girl's name. He had a girl, singer, that was on many of his records that he cut, and he was very popular.
Yeah, I remember you had a couple of his albums too. I didn't show them, but yeah. Fox Guy 67 is back again. He said he's from the area. He's got to be from New England because he said Warwick Musical Theater, the tent.
Yeah.
He said, last time I was there, I saw Ringo in the round. Your dad is bringing back all memories of the old venues that are long gone. Memories.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Liberace used to be big there. If he didn't come
every year,
once a year to the tent, and he stayed with this lady who lived in the neighborhood. She welcomed him every year to stay at her home while he performed. It probably was for about a week each time, and they packed the place.
Yeah.
He was so outstanding as the presentation of his show and the clothes he wore, unbelievable.
I'm not sure where Fred is from. Fred Flintoff. Hi again. I had to say how great these two videos are. I watched the first two. Fab to see your dad is still looking fit. I can tell you are as close as my dad and I were. So that was nice of him.
Yeah.
So you look fit and trim though, so that's good.
I'm glad he had a good relationship with his father, because mine with my son is, in my mind, is excellent, outstanding,
yeah, absolutely,
super duper. So.
Yeah, yeah. Ellie, her name is Lise or Lisa, I guess, but
right.
We call her Lise. I think she's from the South. She's from down south of Carolinas somewhere. I'm sorry, Lise. She said, woo-hoo, Cat Stevens, Jim Croce, yeah, nice. I love them both also.
Yeah.
Some great jazz in Mr. Wes Montgomery, hailed from Indianapolis, Indiana. Heck yeah, I like your pops jazz artist. This was so much fun. Thank you both for doing these videos. Have a great weekend. So she likes Croce and the jazz you were speaking about.
I can picture Jim Croce and his fellow guitar player that they were on television, and I can see it. I can
great show.
now, and I could picture it.
I'll have to look that up for you someday on YouTube. I think you can see that nowadays on YouTube of that show.
They were great.
I'm not sure where Mark P is from. Mark P is a big Beatles fan. He said, I really enjoyed all three of the videos in this series. Your father was so lucky to have seen so many older artists in their prime. It must have been really something to see back then. I feel like I will be the same as him when I'm his age, being able to reminisce about all the groups and artists growing up. Music is such a wonderful part of our lives. Wish your father well this Father's Day weekend. He wrote this last weekend. Right. Mark P. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, thank you very much. They were great times. To this day, music is so important, and I know how much it adds to Dave's life, my son Dave. And one thing I thought of after I had spoken on tape with Dave was, I used to go to Hampton Beach in New Hampshire once a year before I met my wife, and they had one night a week where they would have dancing in this casino up there. They have some of the greatest orchestras that ever performed. Billy May, I always remember Billy May and his band, and they were nationally recognized. They weren't just the local boys. They were coming in from all parts of the U.S., and they would play for at least one night a week.
Okay, this is from Rossi, 1973. He's from the United Kingdom, I know, because I've had personal contact with him. He's a big Elvis fan, great guy. Rossi says, I absolutely loved all three parts. Fascinating stuff. Can I just say your dad is an absolute class act. I could sit in a room and talk to him all day. What a great gent. I'm really impressed how your father has a good ear for talent. I'm also impressed how he moved with the times. Unlike myself, I'm very much stuck in the 50s into the mid-80s. Please thank your father from me for doing these videos, and thank you for sharing your father with us. What a guy. God bless you all. Take care, buddy. That's Rossi from England.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it, but never tune your ears out. Always be ready to listen to various types of music. I never got into symphonies, but once in a while you'll hear a symphony and you'll recognize or realize what great music there is at that level. So more sophisticated perhaps in some people's minds, but still something to listen to.
Okay, Thomas Calden, I'm not sure where Thomas is from, but he said, wonderful series of videos. Your dad is a very nice man. The part about putting Beatles albums on the nightstand really touched me. He's mentioned his mom loves Jim Croce, but he really enjoyed that story about you buying me the records.
Yeah.
Mal Walsh is from the United Kingdom. Mal says, hi, what a great series of videos, very interesting. I could listen to your dad all night. Please give him my regards and many thanks for these. Cheers, and both of you take care. Mal. He's from the United Kingdom.
Thank you very much, and you take care too.
A couple more and we'll be done here. Josh Hausen just came back and just said, what a good idea to look back on his favorite music with your father over the years. Pleasure to listen to him and see how his eyes lit up with some of the albums that you showed him.
Yeah.
I wish your father and you a fantastic Father's Day. From Josh. I think he's from the UK, Josh, I'm not sure. But he really liked how you lit up when I would show you some of the albums.
Yeah,
you seem to get excited.
Bring back the memories. My thought track, it's slipping a little bit as I age, and but then when you mention a name or show me the album, I can immediately hear their music. At least one of their songs comes immediately back to me.
Yeah. Fit to be Tie-Dyed Paul from Vancouver, Canada, again mentioned, please forward my sincere thanks to your dad. We don't hear enough from the generation that was before us. He has helped make it all real for me. Wonderful stuff.
Great.
And Mark Williams, I'm not sure where Mark's from, said, I enjoyed all three parts of your father and you. I was wondering, what does your dad say, or what does he think about the singing groups of those 40s through the early 50s? You were talking, you liked a lot of those groups that came up through the 50s and early 60s,
that replaced,
right?
In my mind, that replaced the big band.
Yeah, the singing vocal groups.
And I guess it was, in a sense, cheaper for a casino or a venue to have 4 guys singing with their guitars, etc., as opposed to a 20-piece band playing.
Yeah. Andrew is from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh.
His screen name is World Record Vinyl, but he's from Denmark. He said, hi, thank you so much for doing these lovely 3 episodes and for introducing your fantastic father. I was already fascinated when you showed some of his collection in a previous video. I had shown some of your records.
Right.
But it was so much more awesome to kind of meet your dad and to hear him tell about his experiences with music. It was a real treat in the field of music history. It was also very touching to see you together and hear about some of the great music-related memories you share. Please tell him I said hello and thank him for participating. Have a great weekend. Cheers. Andrew from Denmark, Copenhagen.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. So that's it from all the viewers. Again, I couldn't read everybody's. I tried to include as many of you as I could. But anything you'd like to say in parting before we close this? You said any memories that jarred that came back you want to share?
Thinking of the Warwick tent, that it's too bad that ended. And the only reason it ended, the taste of people in music changed. Younger generations came along, and I guess they found it was impossible to afford operating the tent. But there were so many great artists that many of them had been somewhat over the hill, but there was still a lot of talent. I remember I never did see him down there, but of course I knew much about him. Sammy Davis, he was popular. He went there on 2 or 3 occasions, as I recall, and he was unbelievable. This guy was fantastic. And prior to going to the big time with Sinatra and Dean Martin, he used to go to Providence and perform on South Main Street. There was a club down there, and it slips my mind at the moment, but he with Will Maston. I think Will Maston was his uncle, and it was a group similar to the Ink Spots. And Sammy Davis was very, very young at that time, but he had the talent. Everybody knew it. The people, when they found out he would appear at this club, they would all rush down there hoping to get an opportunity to see him and listen to him singing and dancing. It was incredible.
Well, that's it. Any parting words? We'll say your goodbyes.
Well, I appreciate, I'm somewhat overwhelmed by the fact that people reacted in this manner for a simple interview of an old codger like me.
You got a lot of positive reaction. A lot of people appreciated you doing it. It brought back memories for them.
Yeah.
They loved your stories, and they really enjoyed meeting you, per se. So it says a lot when you get people from all over the world, essentially, that were able to meet you and hear your stories and inspire them. I think that's fantastic.
Right.
So, okay then. Thanks again. I appreciate you doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thanks.
Love you. And
he's the best. He's the best.
Yes.
And thank you so very much for taking the time to get back to Dave as that relates to music. And
so,
and I can tell that from the comments that you people are very much into music. There's no question about it, and it's important to you and your lives. Maybe there are times when things seem to be going downhill and you listen to some song or a type of music and it picks you right up. It makes you feel much better.
Yeah. It's so true. Better words can't be spoken about music, that's for sure.
No question at all.
Thank you so much again. Thanks everybody for commenting and offering such nice compliments to my father. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
Take good care, folks.